My stream was delayed. I did not mean to insert Doctor Who in the middle of the fallacy discussion. You're totally good. The Time of the Child. Okay, Cameron.
Oh,
Are you going to watch Doctor Who? Are you going to catch up on Doctor Who?
me?
Yeah.
Maybe eventually, but
okay.
by the time I get to it, I'll probably not remember. What you're about
The
to say.
Doctor as a character is a person who exists. They are a member of the species of.
But before you tell me this,
Uh-huh.
do you want me to give you the context of my experience with Doctor Who?
Sure.
I've watched 3 episodes.
Okay.
All with Christopher Eccleston. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Okay. I watched the Plastic People
the very
one.
beginning ones.
Yes,
Yep.
I watched the Plastic
The
People
Nestine.
one, the End of the World one,
Right.
and then the Vampire one.
Vampire one.
Yes, where they're in.
You mean the ghosts?
Yeah, Ghost.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah.
And they blow them up at the end in the basement.
Yes.
With fire.
Yes.
That one's a spooky one. With is Charles Dickens in that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, he's like one of the main characters.
Yeah.
That's it. But anyway, go ahead. I'm sorry.
So you understand that the character of the Doctor is a Time Lord. He's not a human.
Yes.
And he has traveled throughout time and space for many hundreds of years. Oh my goodness gracious! Traveled throughout time and space for many years with his companions, and we have been with the Doctor like from the beginning. One of the unique attributes of Time Lords is that they have the capacity to, whenever they die, completely regenerate their cells and change their appearance in order to escape death. And so, in reality, it's a very convenient narrative device for the showrunners of Doctor Who, where whenever certain actors age out of the program or they want to move on to different things, they can recast the character of the Doctor and continue the show with a completely new Doctor. And it's a really important way that, like, Doctor Who has. This is a cool chest.
It is. It's a special chest. Is it?
What is it?
Maybe not. Yes.
Oh.
We should look for more like this.
Oh, you remember the apples I was talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Well, I found 3 of them, so now look at my health.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully we won't be killed by trolls so much. It's a really important narrative device for the show, the aspect of regeneration, because it provides the show the ability to renew and refresh itself and become something new and different. But a specific, like...
It's just funny to think of her teaching you something.
Sad to...
Look at that warmth in his voice when he said yes. What subtle acting from Christopher Judge.
Yeah. Christopher
And
Judge.
for those of you who don't know, Christopher Judge is the often underappreciated actor that portrays Kratos. He's that size pretty much.
He is.
He's a big guy.
I told you,
And-
he's in Stargate.
Is he?
He's
He's
one of the main characters.
Oh, right. You said that.
Teal'c.
Yeah. So they were talking about doing an Amazon Prime show.
Yeah.
They are going to do an Amazon Prime show, and everyone's like, "Oh, who's going to play Kratos?" And the guy who acts Kratos tweeted, he was like, "Yeah, you know I'm an actor, right?
Yeah.
And you know that I've already won awards for this role."
Right.
But anyway, I'm sorry.
It would be crazy if they don't use Christopher Judge for Kratos.
I'm going to be mad if they don't.
Yeah.
All right, this is a cutscene. Do you want to finish your Doctor Who thing before I?
No. You're good. Go ahead.
Okay, well, there we go. Maybe it's not a cutscene. Maybe it's just a new area. I thought it was a cutscene.
Foothills.
Oh, it is. It is a cutscene.
What was that?
No. He is of no consequence.
Do you want to finish your nerd thing first? Yeah, that's pretty much what the size of it was, Cameron.
That is my concern alone.
And while I won't dispute that,
This guy's basically Jeff
I know
Goldblum,
that blade.
just so you know.
It was one of
Okay.
ours, but we didn't make it for you.
And
Side.
yeah.
Can't. See, the woman we made it for, I am quite fond of her, and I would be somewhat displeased if it turns out that you did something to her.
It was my mother's. She left its father before she died.
Faye's dead? I'm very, very sorry to hear that. She was a fierce warrior. And a good woman. Okay. I will make improvements to the axe.
Okay.
But
This took a turn.
nobody asked you to.
Whoa.
It's true, but knowing your mother, she would have insisted I repair that act of vandalism perpetrated against her axe by my brother.
Brock's brother.
Knew it. You are Brock's brother. The other half of the brand's here.
The blue one is your brother.
Blue one. That's a little racist, but okay.
My talents are vastly superior. No boast.
Kratos sees only color, nothing else. It is. Hold up.
Do not undo his work. Improve upon it only.
Yeah, but can you put it down over?
He is
there?
Jeff
That
Goldblum,
handle
isn't he?
No.
I guess.
He act
Okay,
like
then I'll just
he acts a lot like Jeff
I'll
Goldblum.
just
Sure.
So that's my brother.
oh,
So my brother.
is that dried blood? Oh,
So, what were you working on?
that. I call it the Sky Mover. Just up that mountain waits a treasure trove of rare resources.
Guy mover?
Yeah.
Once I mine it, I'll need a way to bring it all down.
And you know how to fix it?
Not even a little.
Oh, did he do it?
Yeah, he did.
Feeling creative.
Because it just
eh?
kind of looked like he scrubbed on it.
Well, you saw the magic. It's magic. It's a magic axe. He just rubbed some magic on it.
Sure. Okay.
Activated your cringe face.
I think our brothers are hanging out right now. Oh, really? Robbie and Isaac?
Oh, really? Nice. Oh, what is Robbie?
Isaac in
what is-
town?
what is Robbie doing? No, Isaac's not in town. Not that I know of. Unless he just didn't tell me. What are they doing? What's Robbie doing up there? Are they going on a film festival? Yes, I'm pressing X. Blaine, I don't know what's going on.
Robbie's in Austin. Okay. Very cool.
Blaine.
Press X.
Oh, I just
Idiot.
didn't read. Moron. Do not be sorry.
Movie needs stuff.
Movie needs stuff. Yeah, that's about the extent of what I know about what's going on with Isaac too.
Nerd
Oh,
stuff.
nerd
Gotcha,
stuff.
gotcha.
Oh,
Timeless Child.
oh, okay. We're back on that.
The Doctor regenerates.
Uh-huh.
It is a very important and specific detail in Doctor Who lore that the Doctor can only regenerate 12 times. So the Doctor can only have 13 incarnations of himself. And
Have they gone through 13 actors yet?
they have, which is interesting.
So that woman, the blonde is
the 14th.
Okay.
That's right.
Gotcha.
Even though technically the numbers are off, Peter Capaldi's is the 14th because David Tennant regenerated twice, but whatever. David Tennant regenerated back into David Tennant again once, and so that technically was
for the special.
So technically, no, this was before.
The blonde is 13. Well, she looks older than 13, but
Yeah. Okay, weirdo. Yeah, the girl, the female doctor
that was
is
the
the
joke.
13th
I'm not
doctor.
dumb. Just so you know.
Lest you be concerned. Was the doctor? That's right.
I worked.
Oh,
with,
plus the war doctor. That's
yeah,
right.
I worked with a girl who told me that for the first like 6 weeks that she knew me, she thought I was just genuinely stupid.
Sad
Because
day.
of the way that I say jokes.
Okay.
It's just serious.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Like she would
a wild
about
thing to say to somebody.
About 14 times a day, she would give me this look. She's
It
like,
just looks like you're asleep.
Well, yeah. She thought I was boring. too.
Oh, David hasn't seen his emote yet. You're an
Huh?
emote now.
I'm an emote.
You are an emote.
Send me the emote.
It'll be in the chat soon. Anyways, my point with
Doesn't
the
sound
doctor.
it sounded like a threat.
My point with the doctor is that It's a very specific piece of lore that the Doctor can only regenerate 12 times, and it's kind of a crazy thing. They like the fact that that specific piece of canon.
I'm feeling less cluttered already.
I'm just selling the trinkets I've been collecting.
Cool. That specific piece of canon is a really interesting one because it demonstrates that the showrunners, whenever they established that fact during the Fourth Doctor's run,
Okay.
they didn't think that they were ever going to get to 13 Doctors. Like that would like 12 was a crazy, unbelievable number for them.
Right.
Uh,
So they weren't anticipating it to run this long.
Right, and so it is a testament to the longevity of the show that it became a necessary thing within the show's narrative that they had to come up with a way that the Doctor could regenerate a 14th time or a 13th time.
So they had to basically write something.
Right,
new.
and so because of the way they wrote the War Doctor in, anticipating the fact that they were going to approach that problem already.
Okay.
They wrote the War Doctor in, and because David Tennant regenerated twice, Stephen Moffat, the showrunner during Matt Smith's era. Matt Smith is the 11th Doctor, but because you have the War Doctor, and because you have David Tennant regenerating twice, technically Matt Smith cannot regenerate again.
Okay.
And so, in the canon of the show, all of Matt Smith's run with Stephen Moffat is dedicated to establishing a narrative at the end of which the Doctor gets the ability to regenerate more times than just his 12 times.
Okay.
And it's a big deal. Like literally from like season 7, I mean from the beginning of season 5 to the end of season 7. So 5, 6, and 7. All 3 seasons we are weaving a really complicated and complex tapestry of a narrative to get us to the point where we can establish narratively how the Doctor will be able to regenerate again. Because he's out of regenerations.
Right.
And basically the solution that they get to, without going into all the complicated details, is that the Time Lords give him a whole new set of regenerations. So the Doctor will be able to regenerate 24 times instead of just 12 times. Why was he so echoey? You're
Because
dying.
I'm about to die.
Yeah, you're dying.
Nope,
you're
not
dying.
anymore.
Okay, good. What happened was the goodness gracious. In Jodie Whittaker's run, that's the 13th Doctor, the female Doctor. In Jodie Whittaker's run,
Oh, that's her name?
yeah,
Okay, she's a good actress. I actually
she
knew
is a good actress, and she was a good Doctor. It's very sad that she didn't have the ability. She didn't have the a showrunner that could actually do credit by her acting abilities.
Right. I
Because
heard
the writing
that she
is
was
terrible.
Yeah, I heard that she was very disliked as the Doctor.
Yeah, it's
even
real
though I
bad.
do like her as an actress.
Yeah. Anyways, during Jodie Whittaker's run, like the big narrative thing that is established is this idea of the timeless child.
Okay.
There is a child, and somehow it like ties into. It's not really clearly explained because Chris Chibnall, the showrunner, I don't think had a clear idea of what it was going to be.
Okay.
But the timeless child ends up being like the Doctor keeps on seeing this child.
Right.
That's the timeless child.
Okay.
And what they find out, what they realize, is that the Doctor, the timeless child, is actually the Doctor before the first Doctor. So throughout the show's run since 1964, there have been 14 Doctors.
Okay.
And the one that we start with in 1964 has always been established as the Doctor has yet to regenerate. That is the first time he's ever, he's never regenerated. And so we experience the timeline of the Doctor pretty much for like the Doctor's whole life. Like there's a period of time that that is the reasoning behind why the Doctor left the Time Lords and travels the universe and isn't like part of Time Lord
Oh, so
society.
he's not the only Time Lord then.
Right. There
Okay.
are other Time Lords. The Time Lords are the Lords of Time. They are essentially gods who have domain and control over, think like the TVA.
Okay.
They have domain and control over all of space and time.
Nerd dumbing down is what this is.
Yeah. They're kind of like the TVA, except they're less involved because the way that they orchestrate the universe to actually operate is not like they do it from a distance. Their whole thing is like we don't get involved in the intricacies of time and space. We are outside of time.
Okay.
We are lords of time.
Gotcha.
And so it's a big deal that the Doctor himself as a character is always gallivanting across time and space because it's he's
Against
not
the
like
rules.
it's against
Okay.
the rules. There is the whole reason why the second Doctor regenerates at all is because he breaks those rules, and as a punishment, the Time Lords force him to regenerate into a new Time Lord, and they exile him to Earth. And so the third Doctor's run, almost his entire run, is all on Earth. It's really interesting. It's an interesting period of Doctor Who.
Which seasons are those?
That we're talking like the 70s.
Oh.
So like the first Doctor starts in the 1960s. The second Doctor is in like the late 1960s, early 1970s, and then the third Doctor is in the 1970s, early 1970s. And
Come
so
on.
the other Time Lords, you know, they exist and they're out there, but they don't operate the same way that the Doctor does. And so there's a period of time in the Doctor's life during his first incarnation
Dang, apparently I can't remember basic shapes.
that we don't know him.
Okay.
And that period of time is spent on Gallifrey, and it's filled with like the ways that he was raised as a child and the ways that he was different from the rest of the Time Lords. And basically the show starts, the show of Doctor Who in 1964 starts mere like weeks or months, maybe like it's a couple of years, maybe, after the Doctor runs away from Gallifrey.
Okay.
And so like we've existed with the Doctor pretty much the entire time that he's been running away. So the in the 13th Doctor's run with Chris Chibnall, the Timeless Child narrative establishes. What did he say?
He said, "I wonder why Brock and Sindri don't get along." And
Gotcha.
he said that is their matter along.
The Timeless Child narrative establishes the fact that actually we have not been with the Doctor his entire life.
Okay.
There are not 12, literally like hundreds of incarnations of the Doctor before what we know as the first Doctor.
Okay.
That the Doctor, instead of being
Blaine,
like,
I'm gonna be honest. This sounds super convoluted.
it is very convoluted. It's very frustrating.
Okay.
The narrative was already like kind of tenuous already, much less with this like added level of complexity. It's too much now. But anyways, my point is,
Like my newbie brain is just melting.
the Doctor the Doctor exists. You know, we have the 14 Doctors that we have.
Right.
But now what we learn in the Timeless Child narrative is that actually there were hundreds of more Doctors. The Doctor, as we know him today, is like 1,100 years old.
Right.
Are we getting closer to the mountain?
We are.
And Blaine loves it. Hold on, Cameron.
Oh, this thing again.
Uh-oh, what is that?
It's a witch.
A witch!
But it's an actual witch.
A bad
this time.
witch. Are you a good witch or a bad witch?
Confession. Can I make a confession?
You're a bad witch?
No,
Oh. Yes?
that was a leap. Witches.
I asked if
as
you were a good
kid-
witch or a bad
no,
witch.
as a kid, witches.
Are creepy.
No, not creepy. Like terrified, like the devil type of terrifying. The wicked. Did you know what the scariest movie was that I've seen
Wizard of
that
Oz?
I saw? Thank you.
No, I mean,
That
no,
was
I mean,
no,
you
that-
started
no.
saying Wicked Witch, and so I
Oh well,
just assumed that it was the Wizard of Oz. Wizard of Oz is not that scary.
my mouth.
But she is
my
a
mouth-
creepy character.
No. As a kid,
Yeah.
that movie was the scariest thing I had ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Like, and to this there's an episode of Scooby Doo where they fight a witch. And that episode lives in my nightmares.
I thought you were about to say you were into witches.
No, not quite. It's the opposite of that. It's like a witch phobia.
Witches are creepy. Have you seen The Witch?
Yes,
It's scary.
I've never in my
Yeah.
Cameron, have you seen The Witch? Because I want to talk about the ending, and if you haven't seen it, I won't.
Hold on. Before we get off into witches, I have to finish my Doctor Who rant.
Dude, you're trying to summarize like a 74.
I know,
season
but it's
show.
important. And the Timeless Child thing is I haven't had the opportunity to
Okay.
talk about it yet. And especially if I'm like putting this into a YouTube video, I need to
Right.
like get all this
Okay, I'm
out
so sorry.
at this
You know
point.
what? You know what?
And then we'll
Just
talk
get
about
it-
witches.
Okay, just get it off your chest. Tell me everything.
I haven't seen it and won't see it. Sad day. We're going to talk about the witch in just a second.
Okay.
Anyways, the point is, the Doctor, as we know him today, is like 1,100 years old. He is mere like a couple hundred years old whenever we see him for the first time in 1964. What the Timeless Child narrative establishes is that the Doctor, in fact, is like millions of years old, and there are thousands of years before the first Doctor that we do not know and have not known and have never seen before.
Okay.
And there are many different incarnations of the Doctor before the first one.
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
This sounds like what the MCU did after Endgame, where they were just like, "Oh,
Yes.
there's so many."
It tries to
multiverses."
jump the shark.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's so many multiverses, and you know
Right.
we can do anything now, so the MCU can last forever. But then
Right.
it just diluted the quality of it.
Right, exactly. And that's exactly what happened. It
Oh, really?
is, yeah, because like the character of the Doctor, I feel like, in my opinion, is diluted. Oh, get her.
Punch her.
Beat her up. Oh,
She's
she
re-
is nasty.
Well, she probably hasn't showered in a while.
You okay. The reason being, like, so the way the narrative happens is like the Timeless Child is Doctors before the first Doctor, but then whenever the Doctor regenerates into the first Doctor, the Doctor loses their memory of their time as the Timeless Child, and they start their life like over. And the Timeless Child was used by an evil organization of Time Lords called the Division
Right.
to do something. We don't even know what they were using the Timeless Child for. But the Division is an evil organization of Time Lords, and they were using the Timeless Child to do something, and they were experimenting on the Timeless Child.
Which is the Doctor.
Right. And what we realize is that the Time Lords did not have the capacity to be able to regenerate, but the Timeless Child did.
Okay.
And so the Time Lords were experimenting on the Timeless Child and gained the ability to regenerate by experimenting on the Doctor.
Okay.
And so, like and the reason why the Time Lords have the longevity that they have and are able to finally attain the level of power and influence over the universe that they do because of this unique ability that they have, they get that from the Doctor. And so it puts the Doctor like at the center of it's the worst. It's like it's the thing that they did with Rey.
This is important.
It's the thing that they did with Rey, where they said that she was nothing and no one, and that made her interesting because she wasn't like she wasn't like a god.
Yeah.
And then they were
Let's
like
not
in the
bring The
second
Last Jedi into
movie.
this.
In the second movie, they were like, "Oh, actually, never mind. She's not nothing and no one. She's actually Palpatine's granddaughter, and she's been at the center of the entire narrative for the
Star
entire
Wars
time."
is like a whole nother can of worms.
And so my point is,
Right.
the Doctor was like making the Doctor like the center of the narrative of like the whole
I got
universe.
I got you.
Like the whole reason why the Time Lords exist and the whole reason why the Time Lords are able to do what they do is weird, especially because
Yeah.
like for the entire time the Doctor has been like separated from the Time Lords and has like the Time Lords have been like seen as like hoity-toity,
Hoity-toity.
holier than thou, like above it all kind of characters.
What context is hoity-toity used? What does that even mean?
Hoity-toity is like
Pretentious?
like really fancy, like people who eat French fries with a fork. You know what I mean?
Fancy? That's the fancy example.
It's like it's just like it's not you are like removing yourself from like the common people by a level of like anyways.
kind of like how I use YouTube Shorts and everyone else uses TikTok.
Sure. But the Timeless Child does a stupid thing where it puts the Doctor at the center of the narrative, and it undoes and delegitimizes the Doctor. What we realize is the Doctor can like regenerate infinitely. that the
yeah.
Doctor does not have a limitation on how many times they can regenerate.
Right.
And so it undoes in a worse way. It undoes all the hard work that Stephen Moffat laid down to give a reason why Matt Smith could regenerate.
Right.
And like creates this big convoluted half-baked narrative where like, oh, actually the Doctor has been like alive for a long time and the Doctor has been the timeless child for like thousands of years. It's just annoying and it's dumb and it
So it's not good.
yeah, it takes Doctor Who to
But Cameron likes it. Cameron says, Cameron, can you tell me why you liked it? But preferably in less words.
Oh my gosh.
More I love you, Blaine. I'm just kidding. I just don't want you to have to type all that out. So just tell me what you thought. Tell me what you thought of it. Blaine.
I am also curious, even though Cameron's perspective,
Yeah.
as he said it before, is that he doesn't mind the timeless child.
Right.
Not necessarily that he enjoys the timeless child. So I suspect that he just doesn't. He doesn't have the clarity that I have, and the
Why? That's very hoity-toity of you, Blaine. It's very hoity-toity.
to see why the timeless child is so stupid.
Well, okay. That is the most pretentious thing said by anyone, anytime, ever.
Okay. While we're waiting on Cameron's response.
Okay. Blaine, you
should
missed some
watch some of this
vital
narrative.
dialogue, man.
Well, did we?
You're gonna have to watch
It was
this
like 2
whole
lines.
stream back.
I'm not.
Okay. Well,
I'm keeping up
Atreus-
pretty well.
Atreus said,
Yep.
so what you have to understand
Okay.
about this game
Yeah.
is that just because there's not a cutscene
Sure.
doesn't mean, like, most of the
I feel
story.
like you've said that before.
But people are talking and you're not watching. You got to listen.
I am paying attention.
Okay. So what happened just now
Uh-huh.
is that Atreus said they're almost to the mountain
Yep.
at this point.
Right.
They're almost there.
They're in the foothills.
And Atreus said, as when we get to this last leg of the mountain, can I carry her? And
I missed that?
Yes, you missed
Okay.
that. And Kratos said, I told you no.
Oh.
So let's go back. That's where the conversation picks up.
Gotcha.
She meant more to me than you anyway.
What?
Damn.
Just meant I spent more time with her. You were off hunting a lot.
It would serve you to stop talking.
Oh my god.
That
Okay.
was me.
It's not that I like it. I'm just saying that I had heard for over a year that it was the worst thing ever. So I think my expectations were worse than reality. I don't mind it.
Nice. I feel the same way about things like the Lost finale. I heard terrible stories
gotcha.
about the Lost finale, but then so my expectations were so low, so I watched it and I was like, that was pretty good. I didn't mind.